Oh, I realized that my screen is all messed up, that I didn't fix it. Jeez Louise. It's not like I have done this a million times. There we go. Boop. Okay, now let's fix that. Hi, Judith. Hi, Libby. Hey, Bruna. Yay, you got a notification. I am feeling better. That was just like, I don't know. The whole week has just kind of been garbage. Let's hope next week is a better. I do feel better than I did during the live stream last time, though, for sure. I mean, I do feel very exhausted physically and mentally and emotionally, so we'll see how long I last. The live stream definitely won't go over 2 hours, though, because we Skype with Christopher's parents at 8, so I'll definitely be off by 8. Hi, Lily. Oh my gosh. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long everything. But there's lots of exciting stuff coming up. So that makes it all worth it. There's lots of stuff to look forward to. Oh, don't start the yawning. I know, I'm so tired. Hi, Hannah. I'm like, don't know how long I'll make it tonight. I feel like I look so greasy right now, too, because I've had my makeup on since, like, 8? So it's been on for a while. 8 hours. 8 hours? 10 hours? It's been on for 10 hours. I think it looks great for being on for 10 hours, personally. Today was really good. I did... Okay, I was seeing, I was like, I texted you, did you get it? You did get it, okay. We bought so many books today, it's sickening. We bought so many books. I mean, all in all, we didn't spend that much, so today was the, oh no, you're so super sick. Ugh, that sucks. You've been sick for like 2 weeks now. Today was the Book Barn annual 30% off sale. So Chris and I went to the Book Barn and spent way more money than we expected to. But we, like, trying to think how much did we spend. I'm not sure what our total at the last place was. We were definitely, like, didn't go that bad, in my opinion, but I think we spent a lot more than Chris was intending to. So, anyway, but we bought a lot of books. I don't know. Chris will probably come in and give me a number sometime while he's vlogging. Well, after he's done counting while I'm still on here, so we can give you a number of how many we bought, but, a lot of them. I think I'm gonna count it, like, not including, because they had this, like, box of, like, Signet Regency romances, and I just kind of grabbed, like, a handful, like, not a handful, I grabbed a lot of them that sounded just, like, fun, because they were, 8 for $1, so they were just, like, they were so inexpensive that I think I got around like 20 to 25 of them, so I got a lot of those. So not including those, we still bought a lot. Hi Katie. You were napping. Okay. And we're going to a book sale next week as well. Oh, that's awesome, Bruna. Yay, consistency. $8 for $1 is so cheap. I mean, there were like little 200-page Signet Regency romances. Like, they're not exactly like high literature. And they were all in like perfect condition too. I could have bought so many more of them. Like at that store in particular, we spent like $11. Like we barely bought anything at that store. I mean, we didn't buy barely anything. We barely spent any money at that store, even though there was like a lot of stuff we got there. Anyway, let's just quickly go over a weekly reading wrap up. Hi, Keisha. Yeah, my library has like a $7 for a bag room thing, which is like really great as well. And we like going to that one. Does Steve collect the signets? I don't know if he'd want them, but I totally could. I didn't even think about that. I almost just wish we'd like bought the whole box for him at that point. I didn't even think. Steve does not like leaving his puppy for very long, so. But we are actually going to go hang out with him. Next Saturday, we're going to go spend the day with him. And buy way too many books. I don't know when I'm going to get to the signets exactly, though. That's the thing. It's probably going to take me a while. Oh, I didn't know that. I just, honestly... Steve posted 6 videos in a row yesterday. Like... I just feel very overwhelmed watching Steve's videos because there's so many. There are some that I do watch, but I definitely will be the first to admit that I do not watch all of Steve's videos. And I am amazed by anyone who does. I'm very proud of them. I feel like I can't keep up. You're about 2 weeks behind at the moment, yeah. And like... he's just like posts so many videos, which is great, but I'm like, this is ridiculous. Chris watches all of his videos, so he should have told me that Steve was collecting them and we could have gotten him some. Okay, so let's quickly go over my terrible reading week. I read so many things I didn't like this week, and then some really good things. Okay, first off, Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Ewell? Is that how you say her name? I don't know. This is a first book in Earth Children series. I DNF'd it. I just really didn't care for it personally, which, I mean, Diana told me last week that she didn't think I would anyway, so I, like, went in knowing that, hey, I went in knowing that I probably wouldn't like it, but, like, it's fine. I just wanted to try it anyway. I DNF'd it 10% in. It's called caveman porn for a reason. Great. I mean, I didn't get... I don't know. I didn't get far enough to see anything. Is there sex in these books? I didn't even know if these books were explicit or not. I didn't read that far. She was still like a child when I stopped reading. Yeah, look at it as a blessing. I don't know. It's just like... there's tons starting in book 2. Alright, well... apparently, the more you know... Yeah, my problems with it basically were that, like, it's either, like, so it's not super accurate, like, according to, like, other people's reviews. I mean, even, like, taking out, like, the fantasy elements in it, like, I don't know what is super accurate as far as, like, that time period is. And there's a lot of non-consensual sex in book 1. Great. And you told me that, and, like, I don't want to get to that far. I just, like, it's not, like, super historically accurate, but it's also fantasy, so, like, I feel like at both of those points, like, why is this society, like, so messed up and so horrible against women? Basically, what I got from this book is that men and women's brains are wired so completely differently that, like, literally women can't even, like, learn how to do the things that men can, and, like, vice versa. But also, like, women can only, like, literally can only be, like, mothers and gatherers and healers, and men can only be, like, warriors and all these things. Like, that's just, like, how their brains work. And then they also, like, can, like, feel, like, their ancestors, like, experiences, so they kind of just, like, know things, like, the moment that they're born, and they develop a lot faster. There was also, like, I don't know, so it's, like, it, like, really, like, irritated me. Like, I hate that so much. I'm just so sick of all these, like, men are this and women are this, and, like, of course there's been so much miscommunication between our two genders for so long, because we're being told that we're essentially two different species, which is nonsense. We're all humans. And it's, like, I didn't like that, and I don't know, like, I just really, I don't know, I was really bored. I was very frustrated. I didn't enjoy a second of it. And then there's also, like, yeah, it, like, talks about, like, boys, like, as soon as, like, basically they hit puberty, then they'll just, like, go have sex with, like, any of the girls, even the ones that are, like, not hit puberty themselves yet, haven't started their periods, like, things like that. And then the girls, they just, like, leave them, like, crying and bleeding. I'm like, what the F? I don't know. It just wasn't for me. This lady commented on my review, and she said that she looks at it more as, like, a classic and a thing of its time. So, like, the same thing that how we would read, like, Rudyard Kipling is, like, maybe not necessarily fully comfortable with, like, some of the things he said anymore, but, like, that's kind of how Clan of the Cave Bear is more of, like, reading it as a classic rather than as, like, something actually enjoyable. In that, like, I don't know, is, like, how she said it. And I'm like, yeah, I can see it in that way, but, like, also, like, I hated every moment that I read of it, and it made me, like, really uncomfortable, and I kept, like, stopping and, like, playing sections of the audiobook to Christopher, and he's like, what are you even reading? Like, what the heck is this? It just wasn't for me. It's fine. Everything's fine. We'll just move on. The Time in Between. Third book in the Magdalene series by Kristen Ashley. I finished another series. I didn't like it, which makes me so sad, because I really liked the first 2 books in this series. This book was just... Yay for finishing series. Yes! It makes me happy. So this book, I don't know, everyone else seems to love it, but I didn't. I'm trying to even remember, like, why I didn't enjoy this book. He just, like, I don't know. Let's talk about the things I did like about this book first. Things that I did like about this book. I appreciate the older hero and heroine. They're both in their 40s. I think she's 41 and he's, like, 46-ish, give or take a year each. So they're both in their 40s. He has a kid. he's in a functioning split relationship with his daughter's mother. So, like, they function together, they work as, like, a team, even though they're not together, which I think is a great thing to show. Like, what else did I like about this book? I don't know. Let's talk about what I didn't like about this book. One, it's just, like, way too descriptive. Like, this is a long book. This is 563 pages long. It's a long book. Why? There's just so many descriptions that don't need to be in here. Like, I don't care what color the walls, the floor, the carpet, the couch, what texture the couch is, the shape of the couch, the shape of the ottoman, the shape of the lamp, the shape of, like, and the color and the texture and everything about every single thing in every single room we go into. Like, I don't care. Please, spare me. She also is just, like, I don't know, like, all of her characters just, like, love to shop. And it's just, like, really boring reading about people shopping. Like, especially since I feel like Kristen Ashley dresses her characters in really ugly clothes. So not only am I forced to sit there, read them, buy stuff, but it's really ugly stuff. Why? And also, the first two books in the series are about two women in their 40s, which is great, who are very rich. One of them, I think it's, like, a fortune given to her. And then one of them is, like, works really hard and ends up earning the money herself. This lady is also really rich, so I'm just kind of, like, sick of reading about these, like, 40-year-old, like, rich women just, like, living in this little town, like, moving to this little town. They're new in this town, and I just, like, would like to see something a little bit more, like, diverse than that, than just, like, these rich women who literally don't have to work, haven't had to work in a long time. Some of them haven't, like, this girl hasn't worked since she was, like, 23, like, I just has, like, it's just, like, boring to, like, just listen to them. And it's just, like, it feels like it's almost just for, like, convenience of plot, so that she doesn't actually have to, like, build a job for them and have to, like, make their schedule co-align with, like, someone that they're interested in. And so it's just, like, frustrating. It's just boring. So basically the plot of this book, okay, let's talk about the plot of this book. So basically the plot of this book is that there's this lady, her husband just died, and so she ends up moving to the town where her ex-boyfriend lives, specifically for the fact to try to get back together with him. So she's been married to her husband for 20-ish years, I think about 15 years. So she hasn't had this boyfriend since before her husband, she got married to him. She, like, tries to get back with her ex-boyfriend, and it's about them, like, getting back together. So basically her husband that she was married to is, like, 30 years older than her, and she married him, and this is the part of the book that just, like, really doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm just like, what? She's, like, married to him, she married him, and that was his way of, like, adopting her, which I don't know how. She's like, you can't adopt me. He's like, I really want to adopt you. And, like, the point where he adopts her as well, like, they barely know each other and they've only exchanged pleasantries. He, like, actually has a real conversation with her once. And just, like, can tell that she's a hard worker. And he's like, I want to adopt you. And I'm like, what? How do you get from, like, she's, like, helped you check out at the grocery store, like, a few dozen times to I want to adopt you? So he's like, I want to adopt you. And she's like, I could never do that. I couldn't ever let you adopt me. And she's an adult at this point. She's, like, 23. Yeah. He's like, I want to adopt you. And so then he's like, well, how about you marry me instead? And she's like, okay. What the F? plot of the book was just like really stupid, and I don't think it was. But then the thing is that they like never had like a physical relationship. It was really like a father-daughter relationship, and then all of like his children like call her like their sister, and she calls them like her sisters and brothers, and like it's just like so weird. And like this guy like basically was like an undercover cop, and she was hanging out with like the wrong crowd, and he ends up like dating her, but she doesn't really know who he really is. And then that she's not in love with that guy. She's just married to him. They're not in love. He's like her father, but they're married.
And Giselle's live streaming right now.
I am. Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
I counted them. We bought 94 or 95 books. I can't remember exactly.
Is that including the Signet books?
Yes.
How many of those were there?
I don't know.
Okay. I think there were around 20. So we bought around 70 books today.
Well, those don't count.
Well, they were like
25 cents.
They were $8.
Yeah.
It was $1 for 8 of them.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have bought them if they weren't, so I don't think they'd count.
Okay.
Did you know that Steve is collecting those?
No. I mean, he might have mentioned it at one point, but I don't...
We should have bought him more.
How am I supposed to keep track of everything Steve says?
Diana did.
Well, I do... Actually, now that you mentioned, I do vaguely remember him talking about that, but...
He's going to be so disappointed. Nobody tell him.
Well, and I think we spent about... I think we spent about like $60 to $70 of our own money. So...
How much did you spend in the the last place,
30,
I mean?
$30.
The last place?
Yeah.
Was 30?
30, yeah.
So we spent around 60 then. 30 plus 20 plus 10.
Oh, the first place was only 20?
It was like 20... Oh no, maybe it was 30 as well. So yeah, I think it's around 70 then. Okay, you're right.
Wowza.
I think it was like 27 or something.
Well, we did a good job. We got a lot of books.
Yeah, we did. For sure. You can't with stories like this. Yeah. I've heard about the books where the dude adopts a girl to marry her later, but never heard about the opposite. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, so it's like really weird. So basically then the guy that she was like dating, like he ends up like busting the joint or whatever. She like figures out, like she finds out that he's like really a cop, and she basically like gets upset, and he gets upset at her because she didn't trust him and blah blah blah. And they split up literally for a week, and he comes back and she's like engaged to this like 50-year-old man, and he's like, what the F? Because she's like 20. I think she's 21, 22, 23. She's somewhere around there. And he's like, what the heck? And so then he takes off, and like they haven't talked in like 16 years. And so now it's like their love story of getting back together. And I just feel like none of that was ever explained. And then I feel like it would have been a lot better if it was like 2 different books, which I know romance readers don't love, but like the first half, they get together in the first half and make up, and that's like their relationship. And it has a ton of flashbacks to when they were in their 20s, to the present day, and like all this. And then the second half of the book is after they're together and they have an established relationship, and them trying to make it work with like his ex and his daughter and her family, who all hate him, and all this stuff because he broke her heart, and they're all siblings, and oh boy. I don't know. This book is like such a mess. It is just like, I don't know. And it was not an enjoyable reading experience. But the reason I gave it 2 stars is because I was very compelled the whole time. Like, I did consider DNFing it multiple times, but I was always like, I want to find out what happens. And also the first half of the book is just like so contrived. Like basically, I don't know. I thought there was like this mystery and stuff that they're setting up in the first book. and like, and not in the first book, in the first half of the book, and then it's just like done, and then the whole second half of the book is just like a totally different like essence. I'm my own grandpa. It's such a weird book. It's so weird. And then she like ends up. So then the author, of course, since it's the third book in the series, she feels like she needs to make the other two characters from the first book be friends with the character in this book. But instead of doing it in like in I can't speak, in an organic manner, she just like basically makes them like really good friends like right off the bat. And I'm like, what? So like they meet her, she meets them once. She's had like 1-2 minute conversation with them, like literally on the sidewalk. And when she walks away from them, she's like, I can just tell that those girls are going to be there for me no matter what. And we're just going to be so close. And I already feel like they have my back and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you've like literally just met them. Calm down. And she just has this like instant like connection with them and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that's not the way to make your character be friends with your other characters. You do it by having them meet and then like get to know each other and hang out multiple times and blah blah blah. But like no, like instantly they're just like bosom friends and blah blah blah. And it's just like it was like no work was put into it. It was just like, and they didn't even meet in the first half of the book. Like it was like literally like the second half they felt like two different books, honestly. And also he was like super controlling and aggressive and all this stuff, and it was just like, I don't know. I didn't like it, but it was very compelling. So there's that. I don't know. I don't recommend. I really liked the first 2 books in this series, but like this third one, I was just like such a mess. Oh. No, I don't know this song. It's from the Muppets. I've never watched the Muppets. I will definitely have to watch that after. I don't like the new Libby. It like makes me mad. But I'm sure I'll get used to it. But I saw that they updated it and I was like, what did they do? Why would they do that to me? I feel personally attacked. Okay, now let's talk about a book that like I'm gonna have a hard time talking about, so it'll be interesting. Asking for It by Lila Pace. This is a book about a girl who has rape fantasies. And it's a very, oh my gosh. The reason I jolted suddenly is that I have the heater on underneath the desk and I actually just put my bare leg on it and burnt myself. Ooh, okay. No, you're not alone. The title is already yikes. Yeah, and that's the point, is that it's a very like taboo book. Perfect for contemporary-a-thon. For the dark book, definitely you could go with Asking for It. Because it's very dark and addresses a lot of dark things. Major content warnings for rape and assault. And both like both for like fantasy rape and also for like literal actual like there's a rape scene in this book. And described other rape scenes. This book is a lot. Oh gosh. So it's about this girl who has rape fantasies and she ends up meeting a guy who has fantasies about raping women. And so it's like this very like effed up relationship. Obviously she doesn't actually want to be raped, and obviously he doesn't actually want to rape women, but it's just something that gets them both off. And so they end up like coming up with this agreement that, yeah, it's a lot. Like I said, I don't know how to talk about this book. It's a lot. So I read this book originally actually in like 2017. I heard about it on the Smart Bitches Trashy Books podcast. They like mentioned it, and I ended up like looking it up. They found each other. Actually, how they find each other is they do end up meeting at like on the side of the road. He ends up like helping her like fix her tire, and then like at a party later, they end up like meeting each other, and he is like a friend of a friend. And then at that party, like one of her exes who like she told that fantasy to ends up getting like totally wasted, and that's like the reason that they broke up, that he just like was really like skeeved out by that and like couldn't like imagine not doing that, like imagine pretending to do that to her and stuff. He ends up getting like raging drunk and like saying it like really loud. And he's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't pretend to rape you and stuff. And the guy's like, so then he like approaches her about it, and he's like, and she's like, at first she's like, what the, no, like like that's really creepy that you would even come up to me and like talk to me about this. It's a lot. This book is a lot, and I don't even know how to talk about it. I haven't seen the drama on Twitter about audiobooks. Do I want to? Is it gonna make me mad? I mean, I really liked this book a lot. So I originally read it in 2017 and just didn't know like how to talk about it, how to address it, like anything. So I just like didn't even mark it as read on Goodreads at all, and like put it just like okay, it's the same drama as always. I did see like a couple publishers tweet saying that audiobooks totally do count as reading, and just being like, we think that audiobooks do count as reading. It's so stupid. All those booktubers need to get their heads out of their butts. Oh, like, this disabled person is blind and literally can't read, so when they listen to their audiobooks, it doesn't count as reading, and they've never read a whole book in their entire life because they've been blind since birth. They've never read a book. Like, that's such bullcrap. Has anyone told them that? Exactly, Bruna. And we shouldn't feel guilty about that. It's so ignorant. It is so ignorant. And I don't know. That makes me... Those booktubers need to, like, check themselves. I don't think any booktubers that I watch have posted a video like that, but, like... Now I want to go see who has made those videos so I can, like, never watch them. So this book, yeah, I was having just a really rough week, and I ended up reading this, like, rereading this book, like, in, like, one sitting, like, Wednesday night. Just, like, I just needed a really, like, emotional and traumatic read, so I read it. I definitely did skip some parts. There were some parts that were just, like, too tough to read emotionally for me right then. I'm like, this is just too much. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this book. I think it's fairly well written. There are some parts that are just, like... it's definitely an interesting story, and definitely very, very, very effed up and messed up, and if it doesn't sound interesting to you, then I don't recommend it. If it does, I would say give it a shot. Apparently there's more books in the series. There was a sequel, and like I don't know. I didn't read the sequel originally based off of how this book ends. It definitely doesn't end like super happy. It's kind of like inconclusive. So I do want to read the sequel, or I didn't want to read the sequel, and I kind of stand by that, but like I do want to try it and see if I hate it, because I feel like I might. So I think I'm going to try it for Contemporary-a-thon as my dark read, because it's a dark read. Okay, let's move on from this book. I gave it 4 stars. I really like this book, but it's definitely not for most people, I feel. Okay. That's awesome, Bruna. I was like part of this, there's this group called like Fantasy Buddy Reads, and there's this, people will track like their reading like series wise, and there were some people that were like, for every like 5 series they read, they could start a new one. And then there were some people that were even like more strict and just like needed to finish all of the series that they were currently reading, and they did it, and it was so impressive, and I like loved going and watching their updates every month and like seeing how many sequels they read and stuff. Impressive. But I would never be able to do it. I agree with Diana. Okay, so let's talk about How the Dukes Stole Christmas. This book was a wild ride for me. So, as a strange turn of fate, strange twist of fate, as a strange occurrence, I ended up loving the Tessa Dare story in this book. I thought it was so fun. It is pretty insta-lovey, but then at the same time, I don't know, like it all takes place over one day, but there is an epilogue, and also they do end up having like a courting period after. They have like this initial spark that brings them together, and that's what we're seeing. And then he ends up like saying like, I want to court you seriously, and then they get married like 6 months later and stuff. So like I'm okay with it, because it's like not like too insta-lovey, although it is fairly insta-lovey. I will not dispute that. But it was so fun. This first one was about this girl who their house is getting sold, and so they're having to move to the country. And she ends up going to a ball, like, her one last, like, attempt to try to, like, find someone who will marry her to, like, save her family. And she ends up meeting the guy who owns the house who's evicting them, who's a duke. And so then they end up having, like, a romance together, and they spend the night together, like, not in, like, that way, in, like, walking around London together. The plot was pretty, like, like that would never really happen, and that they could just like get away with like him walking her around like unaccompanied and all this stuff. But it was very fun. Oh, okay, Diana. So you need strict measures in your life. My favorite line of How the Dukes of the Meet Me in Mayfair by Tessa Dare, my favorite line of that one is when he says to her, "You are a jewel among women," and she says, "I don't like to be complimented in ways that disparage the rest of my sex." And I was just like, yes! I'm so sick of this garbage, like, women putting women down, like, ugh. Like, I need more women supporting women, and I really, really loved that line a lot. I'm so sick of the, like, you're so different from other girls, blah, 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 or I'm not like other girls. It's like, shut up! Women are awesome, don't say that. And so I loved that she said that. She was like, I don't like being complimented in ways that disparage other women. I was just like, yes! I really liked that one. And then the second one is Sarah McLean's book, which is The Duke of Christmas Present, which the last couple books I've read by her I really have not enjoyed. So I was like very wary going into this, but I loved this story so much. It is a second chance romance, and so it was just like, again, it's like they were already in love. They've been in love for like 12 years, and they basically grew up together and have been in love for like a long time. And it's just like something happened. They haven't like seen each other in a long time, and this is like they're rekindling. And this story was so sweet and so like touching my soul, and like I could not like put this story down. And like Chris tried to come interrupt me during it, and I'm like, leave me alone. I need to spend time with my children, and they need to be happy. I just want them to be happy. I was so attached to them, and it was just, I don't know. This one was really good. I just adored like every second of the story. I really recommend it. I just recommend this anthology for the sake of those first two stories, because they were both excellent. Next story, The Heiress Alone by Sophie Jordan, is stupid. I hated it so much. Heiress Alone is about this girl who her dad ends up like winning a castle like through gambling. And so, wait, let's look this up right now. How long does it take to travel from London to Scotland by carriage? Oh, I didn't spell travel right. Let's see. Will this one tell? Custard Protocol Special Extras. Let's see. Did you say that? Okay. A horse's four-pace can cover 50 miles a day depending on terrain and weather. $50 miles. So let's look up London to Scotland. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. Driving. Oh my gosh, why can't I spell? So that's 468 miles. So what is that? 9 days of travel? So I just have a really hard time believing that these people take a 9-day carriage ride right before Christmas, knowing that they're going to have to take a 9-day carriage ride back just to spend 2 weeks at this castle. I just really have a hard time believing that. But maybe that's just me. So I already think the book starts off with a really stupid plot that's very contrived and doesn't make any sense. And just kind of pisses me off at the start with. they end up like going to this castle, and then her family ends up leaving, and they accidentally like forget her, and she gets left there like home alone, and they end up forgetting her there. But then the thing is that the past gets closed up, like a Seven Brights or Seven Brothers thing where they all kidnap those girls. She gets stuck there, and so then she ends up like, I don't know, there's this thing with bandits. It's, like, super weird and insta-lovey. There's this guy that, like, I don't know, understand why, like, the Duke is the one that comes and fetches her, but the Duke from the, like, neighboring castle comes and gets her instead of, like, sending servants or bringing more than one person. He comes alone with, like, 2 extra horses to, like, get the servants from this castle because he thinks everyone's left but these 2 servants, but nope, just kidding, she's there too. So then he has to take her back with him, and then she, like, falls off the horse and, like, hits her head, and then like gets all drenched and soaking wet, and so then he has to take her, like when they finally get to the castle, she almost has hypothermia, and so then he like, instead of like telling one of his female servants to do it or any of the other tons of women in the castle, he's like, I have to keep her warm. So he like strips off all his clothes and strips off all her clothes and like holds her naked in bed when they've literally had like 2 conversations and hate each other, and everyone in the castle is just like fine with it and like don't like care that like he's compromising this woman's like virtue and stuff, because the Duke is awesome. She sounds like a whiny little girl. Are you even listening to anything I'm saying? So it's just like really weird, and he like gets like a hard on like while holding her while she's like unconscious, which is just like really weird, and I'm not like meh. And then she like wakes up while he's asleep, and she's like not even freaked out at all by the fact that she's like alone in like the bed with this guy and can't remember the last like amount of time before she passed out, and she like doesn't even know why she was unconscious in the first place. And so like she's like worried at all that like he molested her. She's just like, oh, a man? And she like starts like touching him, and he like wakes up, and then they almost have sex, but then like his person, like somebody interrupts and comes into the room, and then they almost have sex again, but then someone else comes into the room and they just get interrupted and almost have sex a bunch of times, and then they do have sex, and then like bandits come, and then he convinces the bandits to just take a cookbook and to leave everything else, so then they do, and then they get married at the end. And I was like, what the F did I just read? This was so stupid. Okay, in all fairness, the naked part was after you typed that. I don't know. This book, like, this story was garbage. I hated it. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how anyone could rate this story more than 1 star. It was so terrible and so insta-lovey. And she, like, literally wanted to become a nun before she met him. She's like, I want to become a nun. I want to become a nun. And she, like, even tells him that. And then, like, literally, like, 12 hours later, she's like, I want to marry you and have sex with you. And I was like, what the frick? No. It was really bad. I know. It was not even, I don't know. It was so stupid. Pissed me off. And then the last story was almost as bad as the first story. Okay, so I get, these are all, like, based off of, like, I think they're all supposed to be, the doorbell just rang. We don't have any friends. I don't know who's here. We're not going to answer the door. It's based off of, like, Christmas movies, I guess. And so so that one was supposed to be, like, Home Alone, because they, like, forget him. And then, forget her. And then, I don't know what these two, I mean, this one's obviously supposed to be Christmas Carol. Meet Me in Mayfair, what is that supposed to be? Someone let me know. And then Christmas in Central Park is supposed to be Christmas in Connecticut. In what mindset would you just rob a cookbook? He, like, tells the robbers, he's like, you can take the cookbook. We'll let you take the cookbook because it's magical if you leave everything else behind. And they're just like, you're right, we should do that. And then they did. It was so stupid. I hated it so much. Okay, so Christmas in Central Park is literally just Christmas in Connecticut. Like, at least the other stories maybe took, like, the wordplay, but, like, changed the story. Christmas in Central Park is literally the plot of Christmas in Connecticut. And it pisses me off. This made me so mad. No, okay, did you even look at the title of my Smudathon vlog? Go look at the title. What does it say? Does it say Smudathon December 2018? Because if it did, that means that it was filmed in December 2018. Because Smudathon happened, like, the second week of December, which is why our Christmas tree was up. Sorry, Morgan. Just... Stop harassing me! Anyway, this is not from Smudathon, because Smudathon was like a month ago. I'm just very late in posting vlogs. There's like 4 more vlogs that have to go up. There's so many reading vlogs. Okay, so Christmas in Central Park is literally just Christmas in Connecticut. And if you haven't seen Christmas in Connecticut, it's like one of those movies that I like against my better judgment. Like, it's not great. It kind of irritates me, but I also really like it, and I also watch it almost every Christmas. It's what really irritated me about this story, though, is that it's literally, even you've seen that. Chris had never seen Christmas in Connecticut before I showed it to him. Christmas in Connecticut is, like, very, like, heavily, like, based off of cheating, but not, like, actually cheating, but, like, sort of cheating, and, like, I don't know, it's very, like, awkward, and I don't like it, and this book is literally, the first half is literally, like, scene for scene, practically, like, they take out a couple things, but, like, it is the movie Christmas in Connecticut, which is so frustrating. I was just in Connecticut today. It's just so frustrating, and, like, be original. Could you just try? Just, like, maybe have a tiny bit of imagination, Joanna Ship. And just, like, try to be just a tiny bit original, please? It is. It's mental cheating. And it's emotional cheating. It's a lot of stuff cheating. And because, like, also, like, even though she isn't already married to the guy, she is engaged to him and is supposed to marry him, like, literally the next day. Like, I don't know. So this story was literally just that, and it was so insta-lovey. It was just so stupid, and I just really, really, really didn't like it, and I don't recommend it. Also, the first 3 books, like, take place in, like, England or Scotland, and in the United Kingdom, and they're all dukes. This one, it takes place in New York, and his name is Duke. And I'm like, who names their child Duke? Are you the dog? Like, the only time I've ever heard someone be named Duke is, like, if it's a dog. Ugh. You can't stand cheating. Yeah, so basically he's, like, really attracted to her. He's, like, met her this one time. He's really attracted to her, but, like, he, like, obviously isn't gonna do anything because he's a stand-up guy, and then he, like, this is the book, by the way, this is not the movie. He's a really stand-up guy, but then he sees his, like, her husband, who he thinks is her husband, but was really just a friend. He sees her husband, like, making out with some chick, this other chick, and so he's like, oh, well, the husband is cheating on the wife, so then he, like, confronts the husband about it, and the husband, like, thinks that he's, like, guessed all of it, and not just that it's a fake marriage, like, not that it's, he thinks that, so the guy, Duke, thinks that he, people name their child East and West, you're fine with Duke. I still think it's a weird name. As far as the book goes, so he thinks Duke thinks that they are married, but that they're just, like, in an open relationship, or just, like, not, that they're not having a relationship with each other at all, and they're just, like, seeing other people. You're gonna go play video games. Enjoy. You enjoy, too. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Um, but the guy thinks that he's like a guest, that it's not even a real marriage, it's not really married. He thinks he's guessed like everything, but really he hasn't. And so he's like, oh great. He's like, I'm glad you figured it out. He's like, yeah, have at her, man. And he's like, what the F? You just told me to have at your wife? And so then he goes to her and he's like, we should have an affair. And she's like, no, we shouldn't. And he's like, your husband told me that, like, I have, like, I can, like, make a move on you if I want. And she's just like, okay. It's like, it sort of makes it a little, I don't know. Like, I can see the justification of cheating more if it's someone who you're, like, the other person is cheating on you, so, like, you, like, cheat back. But, like, they're unfaithful to you, you're unfaithful to them, like, but, I don't know, it's still, like, I don't know. So, that was that story, and I didn't like it, and, I don't know, I did like, it was pretty feminist, and I did like that part, and she, like, does, like, say, like, this is my body, I can do what I want with it, and also she's, like, a writer, and is, like, really good at what she does, and, like, I did like how feminist it was, so I gave it 1.5 stars, but, like, overall, I really hated it. Okay, let's talk about the next terrible book. Have You Any Rogues by Elizabeth Boyle. This is the 2.5 in the Rhymes with Love series, and boy, did I hate it. I sure did. This book is about... Oh, it's so stupid, you guys. This book, like, really made me want to hurt, like, something. Oh, man. This book was terrible. Thank goodness it was only 176 pages. So, I'm a sucker for books that take place during the Napoleonic War and address the fact that it takes place during the Napoleonic War. Like, I just appreciate that, because so many Regencies, like, take place during the Napoleonic War, and, like, don't even, like, address the fact, like, it's set during that time period and it doesn't address the fact. This one, like, does, and I like that, but I didn't like it. Basically, it's this guy and this girl, and their families, it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation. They hate each other, they've hated each other for, like, the past 100 years, and they have this, like, really big, like, feud going on. It's addressed in the other books in the series, like, especially book 2, they talk about it a lot, and... because they're from the different families and they end up falling in love and getting married. So these people, they meet, they don't instantly realize that they're from the two respective families, and then they do, but by then they're already in love. But here's the kicker, they've literally only addressed, like, had and exchanged conversations, like, once. So, like, they meet, so basically, she ends up, like, traipsing through the woods, which, first off, okay, she takes off her shoes while she's walking around the grass, and then she's like, I'm gonna go walk through the woods, and doesn't put her shoes back on. So she's walking through the woods barefoot, which, like, really just kind of irritated me, because I'm like, yeah, idiot. Even people who like walking around barefoot do not go walking through the woods barefoot, because there are sharp sticks and stones, and there's, like, creepy spiders in there underneath all the leaves that will, like, bite your feet and, like, kill you, and... There's just, like, you don't walk through the woods barefoot. Especially through, like, old neglected paths. Like, she's obviously off the path. She talks about how she goes off the path. And I'm like, you're barefoot. What are you doing? So she goes off the path in the woods. She ends up hearing some dogs barking, and she starts running because she's scared or something, and she ends up, like, because she's, like, has a super, like, hyperactive imagination, and she ends up, like, getting caught up and, like, falling over, and since, like, women in Regency era did not wear underwear, her skirt's, like, lifted over her head, and she basically, like, bare butt up in the middle of the forest, and this guy ends up finding her. And instead of, like, helping her and getting her up, he just, like, leers at her. And he's like, oh, look at your butt. Wow. And she's just like, what the F is wrong with you? And he's like, oh, you're just, like, there with your butt up, and this is totally fine that I'm ogling you and not helping you, and that I'm a total tool. And then he, like, literally helps her up finally after he, like, stares at her for a long time, and they, like, literally exchange a whole conversation where she's like, you're a terrible person. He, like, lifts her up, they look into each other's eyes once, and they're in love. Like, the epitome of insta-love, especially after he's, like, a skeevy purd. Ooh, hard pass, no thanks. I know. But I was just, like, really bored, and I was at work, and I was just like, I don't know. I'll keep going. I don't have anything else to do because I was on register. I shouldn't have. It only got worse from there. So then, oh gosh. Thanks, Bruna, for that. So then, they ended, like, staring into each other's eyes, and then they're, like, about to start making out for some reason. Like, literally, they've exchanged maybe, like, 20 sentences back and forth, like, each. So, like, maybe, like, less than 50 altogether. And most of it is her calling him a prick. And then he says... And then he's, like, about to, like, make out with her, and then her dad, like, calls her name, and he realizes who she is, and they're like, we could never be together. I don't know why you're thinking about being together. You've literally only, like, barely talked. I don't know, we could never be together. They, like, don't see each other for a while, and then they see each other again. Like, he, like, comes to this ball that he's not supposed to come to because it's hosted by her father, and if he saw him there, he would, like, kill him or something, and, like, ooh, very melodramatic. And he ends up, like, coming, and he's like, I came to tell you that I'm going to Paris. I leave tomorrow. Please come with me. And she's just like, yeah, I'll come with you. And so they're gonna, like, run away to Paris together. Literally, keep in mind, this is their second interaction ever, that they're making plans to run away to Paris together. And then they do... Well, they try, and she, like, tries to go to him, and then her brother catches her, so then he, like, physically holds her back, and she literally can't go, and then he leaves to Paris without her, and then he ends up getting captured when, like, the peace breaks during Waterloo or whatever, and he ends up, like, getting captured, and is, like, a prisoner of war for a couple years or something, and so then it's several years later, and he ends up, like, coming back, and they, like, meet, and they're just like, oh, wow, we're still in love with each other, we should still go get married, and then they, like, have sex, and then they're gonna, like, run away together or something, and then her, like, and then he hears his aunt, like, comes looking for him, because they, like, snuck off together to have sex. His aunt comes looking for him, and he's, like, all put her off, and he's, like, and so she, like, hides outside, like, the window, and he listens to their conversation. He's like, yeah, I would never marry a Selden. How could you think I would do that? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, Aunt, you need to calm down, cool your jets and stuff. And he's obviously just saying it to, like, put her off, like, the scent. But instead, the girl's just like, he said those things. They must be true. You know why she believes that he thinks that those things are true is because they literally have never talked and don't have, like, a basis for their love and don't have a strong relationship whatsoever and do not have that built on anything. And so she instantly believes him, and she runs away and gets married to a homosexual guy. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The most important part. Every time they meet, she's been married to a different person, but that person has just died. So that's a thing as well. Thanks, Kyusha. Sure didn't, but I may. Every time she gets married after he leaves for France, and then her husband had just died when he comes back. And then she runs away and she gets married to this guy who's gay. And then he dies, literally, like, on their wedding night. And then they, like, meet again and, like, have sex again or something. And then they, like, have another miscommunication, and then she gets married again. was married again, and then he dies, and then this is like their final time meeting or whatever. So she's had 3 husbands, and they've all died. OMG, Black Widow. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that, Keisha. I will definitely look into that. Because you know what I might do for that? I also might just, like, buy books that I can get, like, a Whisper Sync book for fairly cheap on Audible. Like, that might make it worth it, too. No, she's not really killing her husbands. They just die. But then, the last 2 husbands she had, she didn't have sex with. One of them because he was gay, he, like, died instantly, and the other... No, one of them was gay, and one of them died instantly. So she didn't have sex with either of those 2. So... And she literally elopes, like, that night to Gretna Green with that guy. Because she hears him saying to his aunt that he wouldn't marry a Selden. Might as well do it now, exactly. And so, now this is, like, their final time together, and it was just, like, really stupid. I've spoiled the whole plot of the book, but I don't feel like you guys are missing anything. I don't recommend. I did enjoy book 2 in the series. I'm definitely going to read book 3, but if book 3 doesn't work for me, I may just call off Elizabeth Boyle, because this one was garbage, and I didn't like the first one in the series either. Okay. Time... Let's get this horrible cover off. You guys can stare at this wonderful cover. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to refill my water. I will be back in a jiffy. Never fear, I'm back. Popeyes or McDonald's, nice. Hi Elizabeth. Hi Chris. Yeah, I hated it. It made me really mad, but I finished it anyway. I definitely skimmed some though. Okay, let's talk about this beautiful, beautiful book right here. Grounded, The Adventures of Rapunzel by Megan Morrison. This is the first book in the Time series. It is a reread for me. And I love this book so much. The first time that I read it, I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it, but like, I think I just like didn't realize how brilliant it was. Which is totally on me. And I can see why like this wouldn't be a 5-star for everyone, but boy, do I love this book. It's so good. Oh gosh, so this is obviously a Rapunzel retelling. It's a Rapunzel and a Jack and the Beanstalk retelling. You can see little Jack with his like plants down there. And this is wonderful. It's so great. I'm so happy to have reread this book. Oh my gosh, Elizabeth. I'm not Elizabeth, sorry. Oh my gosh, Chris, sorry. I read that as the wrong person said that. That I feel like that always happens to me when I play games because I have no idea what I'm doing. Grounded is wonderful. It took me a really long time to read it. I definitely didn't read the entire thing this week. I reread it over the space of about a month. I started it around Christmas time, and I just finished it yesterday, so it took a while to get there. But this is wonderful. So this is, like I said, a retelling of Rapunzel, and it's so much more than that, though. She is, I don't know. I don't want to tell you what it's about going into it, but just know that it's great as a retelling. It's one of my favorite retellings of all time. I gave it 5 stars. The world building, Megan Morrison, like, not even just for middle grade, but in general, the world building in this book is exceptional. And, like, you don't necessarily notice it in this book. There's, like, a ton of lore and stuff, but you don't really notice. But the way the second book pulls from this, and I know the third book is going to as well, and how much it sets up, like, you can just tell that she spent so much time planning this world and the magic and all this stuff. And, like, it is phenomenal. I recommend it with my whole heart and soul. I love it. This is an instance of a really unlikable main character who I still really enjoy to read about, because you can obviously tell that she's growing. She's super unlikable at the beginning, but she does have a ton of character growth. I love Jack with my whole heart and soul. Like, Jack is the man for me. I mean, he's like a 14-year-old boy, but he's the man for me. Like, if I had crushes on book characters, maybe if I'd read this book when I was like 14, which wouldn't be possible since it didn't come out until 4 years ago. But if I did, I totally would have had a crush on Jack, because he is just the cutest little sweet muffin. He cares so much about his family. He loves his family. He loves his little sister and his mother. He is taking care of them all the time and just like adores them, and you can just tell how much he loves them. And he's just like the cutest little muffin, and he's like such a hard worker, and he's just such a wonderful person. And he's just like not afraid to like be emotional and talk about stuff, and like he's just like such an honest, open, wonderful, delightful character. I love him more than like any character ever. I just adore him to bits and pieces. He is phenomenal. And I love Witch, and I love Rapunzel, and I love all of them. Like, this, I can't wait. I can't wait for the third book. The third book comes out in March. I'm going to be reading the second book in February in preparation, and yes, definitely do. It's so good. Oh, were you talking? You were talking to Elizabeth, weren't you? Well, you should put this one on your list too. Hi, Melanie. It's so great. And the second book, I'm gonna read as part of Black History Month as well. Like, it gets, oh, I'm sorry, Melody. Lame. Put both on, yes. This one, I'm sorry. That sucks. It's funny because Bruna did get a notification today, and she normally doesn't. This one, like, so the second book counts as Black History Month because the main character is black, which is perfect timing to read it. I mean, I'm going to read it in February anyway, but it just, like, is like the icing on the cake that February is Black History Month, and then March is the release date of the third one, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. I love it so much. This book made me so happy to read. Okay, now let's talk about the final book. I'm actually going to DNF this book. So this is Dragon Pearl by Yoon-Ha Lee. This is... Okay, let's talk about what this book is. Let me DNF it. Let's see. DNF'd 40% through. I don't know why the through is there. I don't need to do that. Just DNF'd 40%. Yeah, I mean, this book, I can understand why it's getting a lot of hype, but it's just not the book for me. So, I was really excited about this book, and especially, like, as I was reading it, I was, like, super excited. So, one, I'm terrified to read anything else by Yoon-Ha Lee because Yoon-Ha Lee is a dude. That's what I said. I called him a him, and Christopher was like, isn't Yoon-Ha Lee a female? What a jerk. I'm gonna go correct him. Not really a jerk. He just didn't know, but you were gonna pick that one up. I mean, if you want to pick it up, I say go for it. The magic is really hecka cool in this book, and it's definitely, like, what is giving it the 2-star instead of, like, a 1-star. So, Dragon Pearl, if you don't know what this book is about, basically, I feel like this is the definition. And it also makes me sad because it would have fit perfectly for my science fantasy book, for my fantasy bingo challenge. Like, this is the perfect definition of a science fantasy. It is science fiction, it's futuristic, it's, like, all these things, but it has, like, fantasy elements. It's all this, like, Korean folklore and magic, and it's so cool. So she's a fox, and she can, like, shift into, like, be other human, like, to look however she wants, and she can also shift into, like, inanimate objects and, like, fox magic. And then there's, like, other magical creatures as well, like goblins and dragons and tigers and all these other, like, shape-shifty creatures. Yeah, so I think this is, like, the third or fourth Rick Riordan Presents book that comes out. Just like James Patterson Presents. Rick Riordan Presents. I've read one of the other ones, and I actually really liked it. That's an unlikable character that was really interesting to read about. I mean, I definitely still say go for this book if you're interested. Like, I really liked the world building, and the fantasy elements I think are, like, really, really interesting. I just personally can't push through. Let me see. So Stormrunner is one of the other ones through the Rick Riordan Presents one, and then Aru Shah. The second book is coming out in 3 months. In 3 months, and I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to read that one. I really liked the first one, Arsha and the End of Time. This one is really interesting because she's like 12 and she's like a pathological liar. I think makes a fascinating character. No, I haven't talked about why I didn't like this book yet. So I just really, really hated the main character. Min, she is just so obnoxious. Like, I genuinely despise her. She's really unlikable. I don't think she has, like, any redeeming qualities. And not even in the fact that, like, she's an interesting person to read about, because she's just plain not. She... It feels like very lazy writing in that, like, she just makes mistake after mistake, and it's just obnoxious and horrendous to read about, and it's just, like, so unlikable, but can get away with everything because of her magic. And, like, so she has this magic that she can use on people called charm, and so she can, like, charm people to, like, believe things and do things and stuff, and so she sucks. She makes tons of horrible decisions, and it's just, like, really stupid and impulsive and so, like, not great to read about because she's so annoying. And then she just charms everyone and so just gets away with everything. And it's so annoying. And I'm just like, please, please stop. Like, I'm just not enjoying reading it at all. Like, it is a slog to read. Like, I started this book last night, and I easily could have gotten 3 or 4 hours through. I barely made it to hour 2 because, like, I just did not want to read it. And then every time I think about, like, okay, time to turn on an audiobook, I have a little bit of time, and I'm like, oh, I have to turn on this book? Yeah, I'm gonna watch YouTube instead. And I've done it like 6 times while reading this book so far, and I'm like, how? Like, I just do not want to pick this book up. I don't know. It's just not for me. I can definitely see how it could be for other people, but, like, I feel like I gave it a good shot. Like, I gave it 40% through, and my thoughts on it half an hour through the audiobook is my thoughts on it 4 hours through the audiobook. I had the same thought half an hour through the audiobook. Magic is really cool. World is really cool. Wow, she's annoying, and I really, really don't like her. 4 hours through, same exact thoughts. So, yeah. Not my favorite, and now I'm really sad. New hobbies are good, though. I don't know, I was having this conversation with Chris the other day, like, how, like, reading is not the end-all, be-all of the universe, and so if you take, like, a little bit of time off reading, it's okay. And I stand by that. I don't know. She just, like, really didn't work for me, but I have, like, a ton of friends that gave this book 4 stars, so, like, I love that this book got published. I just wish that it had a more compelling and likable character. Or if not likable, at least compelling. But she's not compelling because she's just stupid and lazy. And complains all the time. Boy, does she just complain about everything. I'm like, just shut up. But like I was saying about Aru Shah, that's an unlikable character. She's unlikable and obnoxious and makes terrible decisions, but she's very compelling, and I actually enjoyed reading about her, even though I don't like her as a person. I like her as a character. This, I didn't like her as a person or as a character because she was boring. You only accidentally DNF books. Oh, that's awesome, Judith. I had no idea you were reading that. Oh, that's awesome. Chris and I listened to the 4th one together today, and we had so much fun with it. Oh, I need to update that as well. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I'd had, like, a good reading week in, like, volume, but, like, not a good reading week in content. And, like, also grounded, I didn't read the entire thing this week. I only read the last, like, 2 hours because I've been reading it very slowly. So, like, it almost doesn't feel like I finished it this week, even though I did, because I read so little of it this week, and then everything else besides asking for it, which was also a reread. I had 2 rereads this week that I gave 4 and 5 stars respectively, and then everything else I read this week was, like, a disappointment. Like, I really liked 2 of the stories in this, but 2 of them were, like, utter disappointments. And then coming off of last week where, like, I DNF'd this and I hated it, and I read this and I hated it, and I was disappointed in this. Like, I've just been having a really bad reading time. What was that called? Pink Fan. You can do it, Melody. Oh, that's awesome, Judith. That's great. This week I only finished 3 books. Shut up. You've been sick and you finished 3 books? Ugh. That's so good. I love this book. This book is like really where the series like starts to shine. See, Katie didn't finish anything. You do it good, Judith. I'm sorry, Katie. Neither did Chris. It's fine. Like I said, reading is not the end-all be-all of the universe. I'm gonna switch to all of these editions because I really like these covers. They're sick. Okay, let's add another reading date. Let's just add this one because, I mean, I read it last year exactly around this time. Reading it this year exactly around this time. And I've read it in the past as well, but I'll just make it those two. Just choose one and concentrate on it. That's like, I felt as if I had stepped into a cow's udder. Brilliant. My favorite quote from The Peculiar Pink Fan was when she says that, oh gosh, let me figure out how it was phrased. The computer's being so loud right now. I hope you guys can't hear that. The Peculiar Pink Fan, marriage. Here. Let's see. Maybe I can't find this one. Oh, here we go. Who must not be locked into a prison masquerading as a marriage. I really liked that quote. I was like, ooh. It's so true, though. Like, that, it's unfortunately not an uncommon thing. But I really liked that line, and I thought it was, like, a very poignant line that, like, women must not be forced into a marriage or into a prison masquerading as a marriage. Whew, such a good line. Gave me chills. Not me, by the way. I said that. I paused it when that line was said in the book because I was listening to it with Chris, and I was like, that's such a good line. And he's like, is that what you think our marriage is? And I was like, no, it's not. I just think it's a really good line. You're going by due dates. You could have read today, but the only thing you did was play Sims until your arms hurt. Will it change though, Judith? That is the question. The Sims is always a good choice. I've never actually played The Sims. I really like watching other people play The Sims, but I've just never owned it. So, I've never played it. Okay, so I had a pretty good week. I don't know. I really enjoyed rereading this. It's great. I love it. I recommend. So you rescued your godson and took him out to eat and shopping. Oh, that's so cute of you. That's so nice of you. Ugh. Okay, so now before I like make my daily vlog for the next week and figure all that out, which I can condense this next week down. Yay. Before I do that, let me talk about some readathons that are happening in February now that I will be planning my February TBR out. Let me see. Oh, come on, call. Give him a call. Here we go. I don't know if he'll answer. I'm calling Chris. He's right in the other room, but boy, am I lazy. How do we fix text wrapping again? There we go. Nope. He didn't answer. Oh well. He's like, let me know when you do this part, when you plan it out. But I'll get set up and then I'll go grab him. Okay, so there's a lot of readathons happening in February, as I'm sure y'all aware of, because there's just a lot. If you type in 2019 reading challenge on Google, there's this one lady who like compiles a whole list of like every reading challenge you can imagine. And she'll pop right up. 2019 reading challenge. Master list of 2019 reading challenges. And then this is just a master list of a ton of reading challenges. That's where I found my fantasy book bingo, which I ended up completely cannibalizing. And then also, and like not even, it's not even the same anymore, and also my retelling challenge. And I'm sure she's added a ton more since I looked at it as well. The Victorian reading challenge looks awesome as well, but I just know it's not something I'm going to prioritize this year. But you went out and socialized. Good job. But, like, we don't even have an upstairs and downstairs. He's literally just in the next room. Well, 2 rooms over. Sometimes I'll text him, but I usually don't call him. Okay, so there's this, let's see, YouTube. There's this, I've been so bad, I've barely watched any YouTube this week. But this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So this is the Read D&D-a-thon announcement from the Enchanted Library. I just found out about it yesterday, and I am so excited I'm doing it. Okay, so this is a readathon based off of D&D, and it is so freaking awesome. I can't wait. I'm planning my entire, like, first 2 weeks of reading and the year around this. Which also, on top of that, I need to end up... Which is also funny because she literally just... oh gosh. She literally just liked my comment that I left on her thing, and it says, "Congratulations, your comment got a heart from the Enchanted Library." And here I am talking about her. But I don't know why it's telling me congratulations, but okay. I just think that's really funny. Congratulations. So this is a readathon based off of D&D. It's hecka cool. I really recommend watching her announcement video. Even if you don't play D&D, you don't have to play D&D in order to do this. I've never played D&D before, but I think this readathon is like the coolest readathon ever invented, and I'm so excited to participate. So my plan is to make 3 characters. So basically how this works is that the Read D&D-a-thon is this first round at least, you're just building your character. So in order to build your character, your character needs to have a race, it needs to have alignment, and it also needs to have a class. And so then the way those 3 things are determined are you read books that fit into certain categories. And they chose 10 for race, 10 for class, and then there's 9 alignments. And so there's 3 that you need to do in order. You just need to read 3 books to participate. And then there's like bonus challenges for extra things. I'm going to try to make 3 characters, which is a total of 9 books. You're playing D&D next weekend. This readathon is so cool. I really recommend. There's only one challenge that makes me so furious, but we're just going to pretend that challenge doesn't exist. You're going to go to bed now. Okay. Oh, you're not going to go to bed now. You're going to go buy food. Okay, sorry. My brain is dead. Have fun. Bye, Chris. Okay, so one of the challenges makes me really mad, but like the rest of it is so cool that I forgive her. I am so excited about this readathon. So we're going to have to plan out my reading. I do have books that are due at the library, and I'm going to try to get to as many of them as I possibly can before the month starts, so that I can focus on books if I need to that fit into this. So there are a few books I absolutely have to fit in this month, at the end of the month, and then I'm going to go crazy. Okay, so here's the thing. Out of that, there's also bonus challenges, and I'm totally going to do the bonus challenges because how can I not? Our Lost Library Lost-a-thon for February. I don't know what that is, but I'll definitely look it up. Is there an announcement video for it? It's on Twitter. Oh gosh. Twitter. I'm not signed in. That's cute. I like book bingos. You don't think textbooks would count? Oh, sad. It focuses on older books. That's awesome. okay. That makes it easier. You can do whatever books you want to build them, as long as they fit into the categories. The prompts, I mean. Okay, so there's also 3 bonus challenges. One is to roll for your character's race, class, and alignment. So that would be totally randomized just by using a D10, which I'm just going to use on like a randomizer. Random.org. And I'm going to do that. And then build a party of at least 3 characters without repeating any prompts for a total of 9 books. I'm also going to do that. Give your characters names using the titles of books. I can do that too. So, let me see. I have my January TBR. I didn't update my spreadsheet this week. I'm going to. I just didn't feel like taking the time to do it today. Okay. Let me find my July TBR and see how I had this set up. So I had the readathon, I had the dates, and then I had the challenges. Readathon, dates, challenges, and then the books. Okay. I think I might just make a new, like, February TBR, like, prompt thing. Let me see. And pull them over to here as we go. So this would be the read D and where's the and D-a-thon. Feb 14th or 1st through the 14th. And then I'm going to put the challenges there. Nice. Okay. So let's do actor 1. Oops. Character 1. 1, 2, 3 space. Actor 2. 1, 2, 3 space, and then actor 4. Okay. Not 4, 3. Wow. Someone needs to stop me. Babe! Christopher!
Yeah?
I'm about to start my D&D thing. Do you want to see?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I love you.
I'll watch.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have to roll a dice?
Yeah.
Do you have a dice?
That's what
Do you have
random...
an online dice?
Yeah, random.org. It's a D10 anyway, which we don't have.
Yeah.
I really kind of want like an actual dice though. So maybe I'll do that. Dice randomizer. A dice roller. Oh. Is it not a D6 though? I mean not a D6, a D10. Oh dang it. I wish I could do that. Wait, D10. Let's see if this works. And then just one die. Oh, you have to download this? Oh, I don't want to download something. Oh, there we go. And then is return just... Okay, so this is it. Okay. It doesn't look like an awesome D10, but then you can actually see the dice. Okay, I'm going to do this. That roll didn't count. So let's roll for my first character. So I need to find my character's race right now. So these are the 10 races. These are the challenges I'm going to have to choose from. Okay, let's go. 10. Okay. I don't know why I said it like that. Read a science fiction book. Yes! This is one of the ones I wanted. Okay, awesome. Woohoo! I don't know why I said woohoo. Okay. Let's do it again. Now we're rolling for this next set, which is my class. Okay, what's my class? A 3. Okay. Read a book featuring gods or religion. Interesting. I'm like not sure what I have on my plate currently for that. I mean, Brandon Sanderson would be great for that, but but I don't know. Gosh. Well, okay, so now I'm rolling for my last one, which is my alignment. Two. Chaotic neutral. Read a book featuring superheroes. Frick! What the heck books feature superheroes? Oh no. Oh no, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, this is great. Okay, I like this. You just change number to 10. But that wasn't... The thing that she linked to wasn't a die, though. It was just like this. Okay. Okay, read a science fiction book. This is perfect. I'm gonna read Old Man's War. Let's see what I have currently checked out from the library. Book featuring gods or religion. I honestly don't know if I have anything. Okay, but I have a... Wait. I have a Warforged cleric who's a neutral good. What the frick is a Warforged? Okay, so this is a Warforged. I have a Warforged cleric. Sweet. Okay, so he's like some sort of like automaton? Okay, the Warforged were built... Let's find out what my character even is, because I don't know. The Warforged were built to fight in the last war. The first Warforged were mindless automatons, okay. But House Cannith devoted vast resources to improving these steel soldiers. An unexpected breakthrough produced fully sentient soldiers, blending organic and inorganic materials. Warforged are made from wood and metal, but they can feel pain and emotion. Built as weapons, they must now find a purpose beyond the war. A Warforged can be a steadfast ally, a cold-hearted killing machine, or a visionary in search of purpose and meaning. I'm not reading freaking Well of Ascension because I have to read it in 2 weeks, and I have so many other books to read. I know. I just rolled a dice. Wait. But how do you change? That's just gonna roll 10 dice, though. I don't want 10 dice. I want 1 6-sided dice. How do you make it 1 6-sided dice? That's why I didn't use it. I used a different one instead. I could read The Golden Compass. I'm not reading Max Gladstone. Nothing against Max Gladstone, but I don't know how I feel about reading him right now. He's not on the top of my list. I am going to read it, like, in April. Hi, Chris. Oh, he posted a unicorn. You're so cute. A book featuring superheroes. Okay, so I think I'm gonna read, for that, I'm gonna read, I mean, it's not technically a book, but suck it. Oh, should I do the number 4 instead? No, it popped up. Yeah, Fantastic Four. This is only the first issue. Suck it. It's fine. Ooh, good idea. The other Robert Jackson Bennett series. That's a real good idea. Okay, so I'm going to read the Fantastic Four issue 1. Because I've been really wanting to read that. So, I'm going to do it. Ooh, that's a good idea, Christopher. Robert Jackson Bennett. Oh my gosh. City of Stairs. There's gods in that. Let's see how long this is on... What's its face? It's only 18. It's only 18 hours. Foundry Side would count for that as well. Let's see. So this is definitely an option. City of Stairs. What else could count for... Oh, so you already have it on Audible. I know. But like... What else? Is there something else that would be good? It's pretty God-focused. I just don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I can do it. It's just like a book I wasn't necessarily intending on reading right away. Let's see what other things are on my horizon. Wheel of Time. Oh, no. I already read Warbringer. I'm not reading it again already. I need to wait till the second book is about to be released before I reread book 10. The Golden Compass is only 10 hours, but also I tried to read The Golden Compass and I found it kind of boring, and I'm afraid to like read something that I find a little bit boring during a readathon. Whereas like I loved Robert Jackson Bennett's other book and I inhaled it in like 2 days. Let's see. I don't know, because I'm like reading 9 books for this, so it makes me a little nervous. So January TBR, The Silmarillion. F off. Okay, let's see. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. When He Was Wicked. I don't know. Some of these other ones I could squeeze in there, like Little House on the Prairie or Anne of the Island. But I think I might do that. Also, for where in Fantasy Bingo would the Robert Jackson Bennett fit? I mean, it would be high fantasy. It would be... Would it be Sword and Sorcery? Would it be fantasy? It would be one of those things. It's not Flintlock. It's kind of a mystery. Well, mystery fantasy is not one of my challenges. Hey, that Flintlock book that you want me to read, that you really like, about like the Civil War, isn't that what it's about or whatever? That one's not super, some church forbidden romance. Yeah, but I already like really want to read Robert Jackson Bennett's other books, like, so like, and it's something that I can read on my own. The reason I don't want to read Well of Ascension is because I'm listening to it with Christopher, which means a 25-hour audiobook or a 30-hour audiobook takes a lot longer if you're just listening for like half an hour in the car every day. Like, it takes a really long time to get through, and I don't want to like And it also is a lot slower since we're both listening at the same time. We listen to it at a much slower speed. And then we stop and then we talk about it a lot. Like, it would just, like, be too long and I would feel too pressured and I'd feel like I was failing. And mostly if it's into high fantasy, not any of the others. Okay. Well, maybe I'll use it as my high fantasy. Or just my plain fantasy. It's not Sword of Sorcery. Okay, I can use it as high fantasy. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. I could also use Elantris, right? Elantris? Elantris, not Elantris. Elantris. How long is Elantris? Isn't it? It's not religion based at all? Apparently I don't have it on my TBR. I thought Elantris did have... Filled with the benevolent beings who use their powerful abilities to benefit all. I thought they were basically like gods that like lost their power. Is that not what it's about? Am I crazy? I thought they were gods. Elantris used to be the city of gods. How are you telling me that this book isn't about gods if they live in the city of gods? I'm offended. Don't you want me to read it? Are you trying to make me not read it? What are you doing here? And I don't think it's that long, is it? Oh, it is that long. It's 29 hours. Good Omens would fit. Oh, Good Omens would fit. American Gods would fit as well. The question is, would I be able, it's about 20 hours as well, would I be able to get American Gods from the library fast enough? Is the only problem. Good Omens I don't think is as long. No, Good Omens is only 13 hours. You do want me to read it, but it's not super religion-y. There's a graphic novel, Wicked and the Divine, but I have the strong suspicion that I will not like The Wicked and the Divine. That's my problem with that one. It's like, I've heard so many people say that they love it, but I've heard so many people say that they don't love it. I will try to pick up either Good Omens or American Gods maybe for this one. That's a good call. Especially since I just tried to read a Neil Gaiman and it really didn't jive with me. And so now I'm like, ooh, I really want to read one of his other books. I could also read Norse mythology by him, or I could read, I don't know, there's a lot of books I could read for this. Good Omens is a fun read. Good Omens, I'm excited to read. I'm excited to read all of Neil Gaiman's books, but I just tried to read one of his books and it just like didn't sit well with me. So, and Norse mythology is super short. It's only 6.5 hours. Okay. I'm still not totally sure, but all of these would work. Is that how you spell Elantris? Yeah. So Elantris, Good Omens, Norse mythology, American Gods. You have a major love of American Gods. What were other ones? I wonder, I could also try to read, like, a nonfiction about someone who is religious. Or that it's, like, yeah, it's religion-based, even if they're not necessarily super religious. Like, could read something about Henry VIII or something. Or Mary or Elizabeth. Gospel of Loki. I don't want to, like, add extra books to... I don't want to add extra books to my TBR, though. Like, I'm going to try to read things that already fit. Already on there. Okay, so there's my first character. He's a Warforged cleric who's good and neutral. Neutral good. Interesting. I think that sounds freaking cool. And let's see. You're supposed to build your character's name off of what book you read. So he could be the Old City 4, the Old Elantris 4, War Elantris, Fantastic War Elantris, Fantastic Good War. Like, For War Norse. La 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 la. Like, this is not... My characters are gonna have terrible names. Maybe I'll change the name later. I'll be like, I'm legally changing my name. Okay, so there's my first character. Let me figure out what my next characters are gonna be. But let me go to the bathroom first, and then also I need to get off of here soon. But I'm gonna go to the bathroom, fill up my water, and then I'll come back and, like, try to power through my next two characters. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. Let's see. Old Fantastic God. Elantris Fantastic More. Fantastic American Man. Oh gosh, fantastic Elantris, man. Oh my gosh, brilliant. Love it. Oh gosh. Now I need to choose my other characters, which, like, I don't know, man. Okay, so races. Like, what other books am I already, like, planning on reading in the first half of the month? I'm definitely going to have a gnome character because I'm definitely going to be reading some romance. So it's like one of my characters, a gnome. What could my other character be? And I might do a human because I do really want to read a nonfiction. I might also do a halfling. I just think, I don't know. And I really want an elf character, but I don't know if I feel like reading a high fantasy. Maybe I'll make more than one character. And then, like, as far as the classes, read a book featuring something that angers you. I'm definitely going to be doing that this month because, oh boy, Black History Month. There's a couple books on my TBR about Civil War or, like, right after the Civil War and the recovery and all sorts of stuff. So, like, yeah. That will definitely be happening this month. Read a book with a movie or television adaptation. Shape-shifting, a controversial book. The battle between good and evil. Featuring hunters, assassins, supernatural or paranormal, featuring a school of magic or other special abilities. I'm not sure what my other one will be out of this, honestly. I'll have to see, because I don't know if any of those are already on my TBR, but I can dig something up. So I'm not sure what that one's going to be. And as far as my alignments, let me see if there's anything I can think of. I think I'm going to do the law enforcement one because I want to read the next book in the What's-Its-Face series by What's-Her-Face. Isn't that helpful? Don't you know what book I'm talking about now? That would be the FBI/US Attorney series by Julie James. And got my character with 3 books, only going to do 1 character. I want all the points. I don't know if you watched her video, but basically you get 50 points for each character, for each book that you read. So you're 150 points per character, and then 150 points is a level up. So, and then if you complete the bonus challenges, that also gives you 50 points each. So in total, that would be another level up. So I want to do it, but you're not talking to me, are you, Bruna? Because I have definitely never read that book. Unless I somehow accidentally added it to my Goodreads somehow by, like, sitting on my phone or something. Sorry about that. Oh, that was a total mistake. That is so funny. Oh, look, I sat on my phone. That did happen today. That is so funny. My gnome barbarian needs to be named David. Wait, why? Is that a joke? Is that a reference to something? I've definitely never read this book. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I, like, sat on my phone. Maybe He might not be a gnome. Maybe I'll have a human barbarian who's lawful neutral. I don't know if it's necessarily my gnome that's going to be that. This is just one of the things, and I may move this around. David the Gnome. I don't know that cartoon. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's a great joke. But I would have to read a book that, I would have to read a book that has David in the title then. An animated series from 1985. Lovely. I've never heard of this or seen this before. He's so angry. It's super cute. I don't know how I managed that. I guess I know why it happened, but I don't know how it happened. It happened because I was like looking at books because I wasn't sure what would be randomly generated. And I was like, there was one of the challenges was it was like a book set underground, and I was like, what are some books set underground? If I was caught up in the series, I would totally read on the Banks of Plum Creek for that challenge, but I'm not. And that book is set underground, and so it was on the list that I was looking at, so I must have accidentally like hit it somehow. What a failure. Read a book you know nothing about. I think I'm gonna do that as well because I have several books that are like on my TBR that like I only know the author and that's why I want to read it, but I don't know anyone else. A true neutral gnome who is a bard, a gnome druid, a gnome paladin, a gnome ranger, a true neutral gnome ranger. Wouldn't that be sick? City of Ember is set underground. Yeah, that was on the list as well. There were quite a few on there. You read all 3 books in one day. Oh, wow. I mean, I just didn't really care for Hunger Games, so I didn't like her writing, so it's not something I've ever, like, been interested in picking up. And there were some other ones that were, like, set underground as well that I'm like, oh, yeah, I could read that. I could read that. So, like, I was, like, at first when I saw the challenge, though, I was like, what book could I read for that? So that's why I was looking them up. Anyway. Okay, so there's like a rough idea of my Read D&D-a-thon TBR. These are my first jerseys. These are my... I'm definitely going to be reading one of these or another book that features God or religion. And... these are probably my other characters of what they're going to be. A gnome barbarian is pretty awesome, though. Not awful. Awesome. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be making at least 3 characters, maybe more. And then one of the other challenges to do is to... actually, that is it. I would be completing all the challenges with that, so that's perfect. And then maybe I'll be making more characters than that. Who knows? It also overlaps with Contemporary-a-thon. And I feel like a lot of the books I'll be reading for Contemporary-a-thon are books that are feel-good books. So, I'm just gonna have a lot of, like, gnomes, which I feel like is bad. So I might have to, like, shake it up a bit. I definitely have a book on my TBR as well that is under 200 pages, so Halfling is definitely, like, a possibility. So, anyway. As far as what I'm going to be reading this week, I'm definitely reading The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Definitely reading The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. And I'm really going to try to get to a monstrous regiment of gentlewomen. I think that's what it's called, which is the second book in the Mary Russell series. And then besides that, I don't know. I'm going to try to also read The Good Neighbor. So, that's what's on my TBR for this week. I don't know what's going to actually happen, but I'm going to try to read those and get some other books finished before this readathon starts so that I can get as many characters as possible, which will be awesome. Awesome. Other readathons that I'm participating in this month are probably, but not necessarily, the In Love-a-thon I may be doing, but it also completely overlaps with the Contemporary-a-thon, which is 100% taking precedent and priority. So if In Love-a-thon happens, that's fine. If not, I'll just be doing Contemporary-a-thon. Either one is fine. Either way is fine, but I'm definitely doing Contemporary-a-thon. Definitely doing Contemporary-a-thon. Definitely doing the Read D&D-a-thon. Definitely doing Feminist Lit February. I don't totally have my TBR chosen out for that yet, but I'm definitely doing Read Feminist Lit February. And sorry, I'm picking the computer up just because it's making such a terrible noise. And it's getting really hot. And there may be one or two other ones that I'm doing, but I'm not totally sure. I'm kind of unprepared. This week is just kind of knocked me out. There's so many readathons. I'm not even participating in most of them. There's so many going on. I'm just like, no, I can't do it. But definitely doing Feminist Lit, definitely doing this one, and definitely doing Contemporary-a-thon. After that, I'm not totally sure. I think there's one that happens after Contemporary-a-thon as well that I'm also interested in, and I'm like, freaking out. So, anyway, really excited to be doing this one in particular, though. I just think it's so fun, and I'm gonna feel so inspired. I also really super duper hope, and I don't know if she will, but I really hope that that Book Roast does one more like OWL prep readathon. Would make me really happy before the OWLs start in April, but if she doesn't, that's fine, because I'm pretty sure OWLs are in April. And I would like to, like, get ahead on that and stuff as well. So I hope she does one more of those. But if not, it's cool. But if one of those comes up, I'm definitely going to, like, drop everything and try to do it. And, yeah. I just think this is, like, such a cool readathon. The one challenge that really made me mad, by the way, though, that, like, I really hate, is for alignments for Chaotic Evil. Read any book you choose, but roll a d10 at the start of each chapter and skip the chapter if you roll a 1. Makes me so furious, I don't even want to talk about it. So, anyway, just keep that in mind, because it's ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys for chatting with me and listening to me rant about all the terrible books I read this week. Hopefully next week is better. One of them is definitely going to be a 5-star read because it's one of my favorite books of all time that I'm rereading. And one of them is probably going to be a 4-star read because I'm rereading Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's true Chaotic Evil, though. I know, but, like, it makes me mad. Like, as a book reader, why would you skip a chapter of a book? Like, it gives me anger just thinking about it. Anyway, good night, everyone. I will see you all next week. I might be doing more, like, random live streams throughout the week just for funsies because I think they're really fun. That's not a guarantee, though, but I liked doing the one on Thursday. I just wish I didn't feel like garbage. Definitely feel a lot better, like, physically than I did then. Anyway, bye, y'all. I'll see you later, and next time we'll be wrapping up my January wrap-up next week. Hurrah! Okay, bye, everyone. Thank you.